Okay, so we're looking at a Triple Whale dashboard right now. Shout out to Triple Whale. And we're looking at our top KPIs for overall business metrics. So I want to show you something over the last 7 days as an example of where this particular account and brand was struggling on actual profit and contribution margin dollars, even though they were making revenue. So I want to show you that the power of kind of efficiency as it particularly pertains to Meta ad spend, Google ad spend, in this case, more so dropping our Meta ad spend and seeing actually more contribution margin dollars, meaning more dollars left to cover fixed costs and end of the day, more net profit. So I want to show you something. This is a trend over the last 7 days as we've lowered spend. So the first thing I want to call out here is we'll look at ad spend, right? This is a smaller brand doing about a couple million a year. So you can see since the 15th, ad spend has gone down pretty significantly, about cut it in half, we'll say, right? So ad spend down. Now, blended sales, this is including Amazon as well, not down quite as much, but down, right? From, the peak here, 5,000, we'll call, days of 4,000, 3,000. So that's overall blended sales and it's including Amazon. But then let's look at the number here that was really hurting them. This is contribution margin. So this is after you account for COGS and shipping, what's left over, right? What's like your profit that's left over after COGS, shipping, ad spend, right? So as you can see here, the last 7 days, we have what we want to really see here is we're seeing higher lows and higher highs, right? So you're looking at, $1,400 contribution margin as low as $291. But as ad spend decreased and we got more efficient and we're using actually bid caps, cost controls called cost per result bidding now. And so we're controlling the ad spend on Meta particularly and telling Meta, hey, only spend within our bids or our costs or don't spend at all. Don't waste our money, right? And then spend more on days where demand is higher and you think you can achieve the CAC, the CPA that we're going for. So overall, we've seen a nice, very significant bump in contribution margin just in the past week by lowering ad spend and getting more efficient by setting those cost controls and those bid caps on all of our campaigns. So now, instead of a 291 low day, we're seeing really closer now to like 1,000 on our low days. And that's huge, right? Every day that compounds. If you're talking to even $1,000 average contribution margin for 30 days, and you're saying $30,000 at the end of the day that you have to pay yourselves, pay contractors, inventory. And now if you can get 2,000 on average and get that to 60 and you've doubled your profit with actually spending less and having lower amount of revenue. So again, we're looking at higher lows and higher highs, right? So now we're actually getting a little bit higher week over week. And we can look back even, we can look 30 days. Let's look 14. It looks like, okay, no, it's pulling up 30. So on the 30-day period, we didn't really start lowering our spend and our bids until recently. But you can see, some on low days, we really started getting really, really tight for this brand, like around here where we started to lower spend, as you saw, around the 15th. So you can see there's some peak days where contribution margin was good. Say we're at our high day, we're at $21.59. On our low, $90 or even losing money. That's a negative day, right? We lost $167 in contribution margin. Now come around the 15th here, and now we're, high of 14, low of 291, and now we're looking at high of 2197, and look at the lows, 895, high of 2321, low of 1,000. So much better. So now on our low days, if we're hitting 1,000, on our high days are over 2,000, that's a huge change for the business. But then when we're looking at overall blended sales, maybe, sure, blended sales could be down overall. We could see a decline, and actually 5,000 days. And here's where, we start to see more of a drop off. So we see kind of the drop off here on revenue closer to like 3,000, still have some $4,000 days, 3,000. So lower revenue overall, but it doesn't really matter as long as our contribution margin is really strong. And then so you can see MER from 1.892. Let's go back to like last 7 days when we really started getting tight on efficiency and lowering spend. MER is marketing efficiency ratio and or marketing efficiency rating. I've heard both. And it's essentially just revenue divided by ad spend, right? So it's like your ROAS for your total Shopify store. And so 2.77, much healthier, right? With Amazon, we're at a 3. Our AMER, this is a problem with the brand, is that we don't have an incredibly high lifetime value. It's like we need to be profitable on first purchase, but that's a really great AMER number. Close to 3 is a target, and we're closer above 3 this week. And this is all due to tightening up our cost gaps. And so same with contribution margin. We want to be above at least 30%, but closer to 50 is excellent. It looks like there's an error here with Triple Whale in terms of showing the actual percentage, but you can see, starting at as we've gone up and up on our contribution margin percentage. So this percentage of contribution margin out of our total sale value, right? Our total order value. So that's a number. I mean, that's a very, very healthy number right there. And again, ad spend moving down. So this is really, and then let's take a look at actually MER. So MER, as we changed, higher. So all of our metrics are looking good. And end of the day, this number here and this net profit number actually we don't have all of our fixed costs updated here. So I don't think this number is terribly accurate, but it still is going to show the improvement on net profit. So what you can do in Triple Whale is you can put in all of your fixed expenses. You can edit all these and say, what's our, total COGS, our total, it's going to incorporate ad spend. It's going to take in contractor costs, all of your salaries, everything else. And then you can have your net profit number. And then this is really the number, right? That's going to matter overall. But contribution margin is important because we're looking at all the variable costs, the ad spend, the COGS, the things that go up and down based off how much you're selling, right? So very important number. It's counterintuitive to a lot of people. A lot of businesses struggle with this and they go revenues down. And, if you're a small business and you're bootstrapped, it's better to be profitable, right? If you're raising money, you have private equity involved, you have investors and they're looking for like, hey, we want an exit in 3 years. We want top line growth. We're willing to sacrifice some of our contribution margin and our profit. That's a different story, right? So you have to assess your goals. But if you're a small store, maybe doing close to $1 million, 1 to 5, and you want to be profitable, you really got to watch out for these numbers, right? You want to look at your MER, you want to look at your contribution margin, your net profit. You want to stay profitable at the end of the day because it's not helpful to sell more and make less, right? You don't want to make less and be selling a lot more, getting a lot of new customers and making less profit dollars, right? So look out for this. Shoot me in the comments, reach out if you have any questions or if you want a deeper breakdown. We go really, really deep on how to calculate some of these numbers and how to correlate ad spend to contribution margin and what levels of ad spend and MER and ROAS will get you the contribution margin dollars and the net profit that you need for your business and how to implement all of your fixed costs as well as your variable costs. And there's a lot of other more complex calculations that we do inside brands, but hopefully this is really helpful for you. It's not something that everyone's looking at. It's very surprising to me how many brands that are doing actually significant revenue and are still only looking at platform ROAS. If you're doing that, just know that you are flying pretty blind by doing that. It's not going to give you the accurate numbers. And there's a whole nother series of videos I can do just on platform ROAS and how to evaluate, even if that ROAS on platform is actually as good as it looks. So hope that's been helpful. Shoot me a comment or a DM if you have any other questions and reach out if you have any questions on this, and I'll see you next time. All right, so it's been about a month now. We are assessing what happens, lowering spend, optimizing for more profit, more efficiency when it comes particularly to meta ads. So here's the results. The last video was a week of lowering spend, and we saw higher contribution margin, higher MER, lower CPA, much more efficient spend. Now you can look compared to the previous period of when we were spending a little bit more. And we've actually started scaling spend now more recently because results are actually a lot better. But you can see ad spend's down 14% still from the 17th to the 15th. Contribution margin percentage up 71%, 50%. Looking really good there. MER 2.73, a big improvement. AMER looking really, really good, about 50%. Contribution margin, 128%. And then our MER with Amazon, which is kind of separate, So really, really happy with this results overall. One big lever in the last, say, 2 weeks was we discovered a really good like influencer partner that posted unprompted. They just loved the product. And we reached out and started a whitelisting partnership that has started to really, really do well. So that's showing a lot of promise and something that we really want to continue doing more of, I think, for this account to get it back on track. So what else? So one of the things that someone asked me when I posted something about this on LinkedIn was that they're like, did your branded search and direct traffic go up during this period? The thinking being that when you stop spending, a lot of times you see that traffic just divert elsewhere, right? Like, if they're seeing an ad, but it's not necessarily triggering them to take an action, but they were already, Facebook's taking credit, but they were already going to by going directly to your site or searching. And so I did dive in and I did a poll of the similar time frames. I looked in our Google Search Console first, and we do see for anything Camuso related, which has about in the last, we are looking at dates August 18th to 9/14 versus July 18th to August 14th. And we can see a pretty significant jump here. Our position average we're probably getting beat by our own position on Amazon, honestly. Click through, it's a little bit down, but total impressions are up about, about 1,000 significantly, pretty significantly, 8 to around 6. And overall total clicks are up. I mean, it looks about like 50%-ish. What does that mean? Does it mean that people would have been coming to the site anyway without seeing an ad and would have been searching, but they saw an ad and it prompted them to take action, right? That's one possibility. Is it a lagging indicator of things that have happened? It's a point, and it's interesting. We do want to see branded search impressions continue to go up, and it's something that we track. But for that specific period, it's difficult to say exactly, right? Because we're not talking with big, crazy ad spend numbers here. But it is interesting nonetheless, and we're noting it. And as we're tracking this, we're saying, okay, is it slowing down or picking up as we're spending more? If we decrease, do we see some of that traffic divert to going direct or going and just searching? It's all interesting stuff. As I look at the same time frame for just traffic acquisition, looking on Google Analytics, we see direct from August to September. This is about when we started lowering spend. We see it actually up direct traffic 28%. That's another indicator that either ads weren't as efficient as we thought, and the ad spend, and we know that, I know that they weren't as efficient as they need to be, which is why I lowered spend and went for efficiency. But a lot of that traffic might have shifted, right, to just kind of going direct. Very interesting. Interesting to monitor. Very important metrics to continue monitoring too, because this is overall brand strength, right? Is this number growing? The amount of people searching you directly. So that's something I'll continue to monitor as we, try to bring things back from the pit of despair here. Not the pit of despair, just, revamping the account. So things are looking good. I'm real happy with these numbers in terms of efficiency and profit, right? The next thing here is scaling profitably, of course. And so some of the things that we're doing that I mentioned, we're doing a lot more whitelisting. We're going to do some third-party advertorial. We actually have a site that we made a while ago, and we've already tested a bunch. We're going to do some more whitelisting to that advertorial, third-party whitelisting, regular whitelisting. And we're going to, as we start to fill the funnel for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we have some cool lead gen stuff that we've done because we have a whole circle group and we have lead magnets that we created for free courses and join the community. So we're going to ramp up some of that to fill the funnel for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And we are also doing a new kind of landing page sprint for different offers. And I have another video that I'm making where we're doing we're testing out a certain framework for angle testing. And so we're going to try that out That's in the process to discover some new messaging angles using reviews and scraping and analyzing them. We've done this before in the past, but now with ChatGPT and like Claude and some of the LLMs we're using, we're able to really extract a lot quicker and faster and create a bunch of different angles. So those are in the works. Look out for that video if you're interested in that type of thing and how it works for us, because we're going to be using a couple different testing methods within meta ads to test these different benefits, value props, messaging angles. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And I'll continue to update anyone who's interested and watching on this potential progress. But big improvement. I am liking what I'm seeing. So we'll see you next time. All right.